Silver is on the edge of glory. Plus, we take a look at gold and platinum. This is your weekly price update and analysis brought to you by Ainslie Bullion and the Gold and Silver Standard. My name's Joe. Hit the like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel for our weekly specials, our educational videos, and much more. Looking at silver here, let's start with that, then do gold, then do platinum. Silver here on the daily time frame. You're looking at the tradingview.com website, and it's priced in US dollars, $23.12 as of right now. What do I mean by on the edge of glory? Not glory, on the edge of glory. Pop on the indicators right here. Had a little bit of a price dip. We'll take a quick look at that, but then we've moved back up to the top end of this symmetrical triangle pattern, a very large pattern that we did break out of. What you'll notice right here, we broke out. That was bullish. Good news. A test of the very infamous $26 level. It was a resistance point, which we thought it would be. We came back down to this support level right here. A second test, but unfortunately, double top. Oftentimes from a failed move comes a fast move in the opposite direction. Failed to hold support of the symmetrical triangle pattern, of the downtrend line of the symmetrical triangle pattern, I should say. It broke down. So then we're in that, back in this area. Right here, another move above, failed to hold. Another fast move to the downside. And now we're back up to the edge of this symmetrical triangle pattern. So we're on the edge of glory, and I would suggest, and this is not financial advice from Ainslie, my own personal opinion, I would suggest if we break out of here again, there's a much more likely chance that third time would be the charm, that we hold as support and then we break above here. Now, if we break above this $24.50 area, I would absolutely suggest that third time would be a charm, breaking through the $26, $27 very long-term resistance level right here, and then we're really on the way to glory, in my humble opinion. So we're on the edge of glory at the moment, so we have yet to break out, but if we do, that looks much more positive for silver, in my opinion. Let's take a quick look at where we came from last week. Of course, this is last week's video. You get a weekly price update and analysis. Gold and silver still holding. We're at $22.95. Since then, we actually had a breakdown, back down, back down to that top end of this rectangular purple box. That's a price range of between $22 and $22.50. We spent some time in that range, and then we came back to the top of that range, and right there, isn't it amazing how trend lines work? And this trend line has not been adjusted, hasn't been moved. You'll just have to trust me on that. But it's just amazing how trend lines work, and I just find it fascinating. And if you do, I agree with you. Right here, look at this resistance level just yesterday to the very top end of the symmetrical triangle pattern, trying to break out, but it was a failed move at $23.40. So we're on the edge of glory. Definitely not saying we are going to break out, but we're on the edge of it right here. Of course, we need to see this breakout and hold. But again, I would suggest if we break out significantly, particularly you want to see a close above, at least on the daily time frame, close above this downtrend line right here, then we're on our way to glory. So just on the edge at the moment. Of course, breaking down from here, if this is major resistance and we continue down again, you've got this level right here of $22.50. I would suggest if we're breaking down further again, if this doesn't hold, $22.50, then we're heading back down to at least the bottom of here of around about your $21.90 level. Obviously, if that fails to hold, then we're heading down to this bottom area right here, but that remains to be seen. Possible, it's possible, anything's possible, but that will be a number of days away, a couple of weeks at least. So we're on the edge of glory for silver. Of course, very bullish on the precious metals in the longer term. So I think it's just a matter of when, not if. For me personally, again, are you buying the dips? Are you dollar cost averaging? What's your strategy for purchasing precious metals? Post a comment below and I would love to hear your opinion. That is silver. Let's go to gold. I would say not as much on the edge of glory. We're actually above, which is good. So far, we have maintained, we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, we've maintained holding above, although a little bit of a dip here. We maintained above this downtrend line, so that's actually looking positive. The hurdle we need to get over is right here at your $1,960 level. definitely need to hold above at least for a few days. And if we do not and we head back down, is there the potential, and let me know what you think, is there the potential that becomes, that's the shoulder there, that's the head right there? Oh, I don't know if that you can call that the head, quite possibly. But if we come up to 1960 and then back down, are we forming a shoulder, and that's a massive head and shoulders pattern? I'm not so sure, as I've said a couple of weeks ago. I'm not so sure it's coming all the way down just to this area here of around about $1,900. If that can form the head of the head and the shoulder, I feel like it needs to be lower to form that solid head right there for a head and shoulders. Let me know if you disagree. Post a comment below. So really not a lot to say with gold that I haven't said in the last couple of weeks. It is just still holding. The great positive news is that in the last couple of weeks, let's take a little last few days, I should say, since last week's analysis, we did come up to 1930. We broke back down. Now this trend line, you couldn't say it's absolutely exact, but we have had little spikes below, and it seems to have closed around at that trend line. So I would say that's still acting as support. Again, when you draw in a trend line, it's not going to be 100% exact. What you can see here is the last couple of days, we came up to 1930 again. It looks like 1930, that area is a little bit area of resistance. A lovely little spike down on the daily. So when you see big spikes, particularly look at this hammer right there. That's just a very cool hammer pattern, hammer candlestick in technical analysis right there. You can see that spiked right down. Now what that says is the buyers were more in control of the market. So it did have that dip, and a lot of buyers went, oh, I'm going to scoop that up, and it just went all the way back up to that 1925 area, and since then a little breakout. So looking positive so far for gold. But in regards to that against silver more on the edge of glory. I would say this is just in its little holding pattern at the moment, looking positive that it's staying above this long-term trend line. If you're new to the channel in the last week and you have not seen my previous videos, quick little bit of info right here. That 1960 level is a level of resistance. Right here at $2,000 is a level of resistance, and my longer term call. We have the big area of between 2120 to 2130 of this particular resistance line. That would be an area of resistance in my humble opinion. Now, actually, let me see if I can review that just for a second. How close we are. So here's the top here in 2020, the double top, the possible triple top, but I'm not so sure about that. That hasn't yet to be confirmed that it's a triple top and that we're heading down further. Again, we're holding above this trend line, which is good. I would suggest, around about that 2120, 2130, possibly now 2140, you would say would be an area of resistance, because we have yet to touch it right here. And what I'm talking about, I'll show you very, very quickly. Go right back to 2011, so just through that 2011 peak and that 2020 peak, that forms that trend line right there. So that's where you'll see a little area of resistance. Very likely, in my opinion, would be a small area of resistance, probably just a number of weeks, and then because 1, 2, 3, third time's a charm. If this is not a triple top, then we'd probably sail through that pretty quickly. The next big level for gold, let's take a look. Just again, if you're new to the channel, you're new to investing, and you want to see where could gold go, let's take a look at this trend line right here. That's going back till 1980. So it goes through this 1980 level and this 2011 level right there. And so you can use that as a potential guide for the big move of where you'd see a large amount of resistance, and that's again in the next coming year or 2 years. So just keep that one in mind. So for example, and certainly not saying it's going to go there in the next 2 years, we don't have a crystal ball and we can't give financial advice, but by the end of 2025, if it was to spike up, you're talking around about your $2,700 mark. That's quite doable, actually. So just bear in mind that longer term trend line as well. Breaking down from here back onto the daily. Now, if we do not hold this trend line as support, what you'd be coming down to is a test of this 1880 level. That would be an area of support. And then between here and this area right there, a lot of no man's land. So I would suggest that we'd be heading back. If we break down below there in 1875, 1880, and that does not hold as support, then I would suggest all the way back down to that 1810 level. Most definitely that would be forming some kind of head and shoulders. That's not good news. So definitely want to hold above this downtrend line, and particularly absolutely hold above 1880. Big line in the sand for me for gold. That's the sort of slightly larger macro view for gold there. Giving you silver, which is on the edge of glory. Giving you gold. Let's take a quick look at our old pal platinum. Are you into platinum as well? Post a comment below. Do you invest in platinum too? Poor platinum. Of course, I won't go through all the previous stuff. For the new investors, for the new subscribers to the channel, you can just go back and look at my previous videos. Of course, subscribe to the channel. You need to. And we did find a level of support here at around about that $900 level that we've been speaking about. What do you know? In the last couple of days, just yesterday, what you can see here is I was talking about a particular resistance level of around about that $940 level, which is the bottom of this rectangular box right there. I did say that might be an area of resistance. No thanks, don't need you. I thought it would be an area of resistance, and indeed it is on the daily time frame. You can see we spiked up right there and looking okay so far. You can see on the relative strength index on the daily time frame for platinum, you can see we went into oversold down here. So when you go into periods of overbought right there, you tend to then go down and the prices tend to go down. And then when you get into a period of oversold, or extremely oversold in this case, you tend to have a rise back up, at least into the sort of normal area, that purple area right there. So I think that is positive for platinum for the moment. As I said last week, you could see a few weeks of movement up in platinum, but you've got this big area of resistance at around about 960, or butting up against this trend line right there. So platinum is sort of in a no man's land, I would suggest. Have been positive in the past for platinum. I have to just, based on a technical analysis point of view, remain a bit more indeterminate at the moment. If it breaks down 900, then I'm going to be Mr. Bearish on platinum. But we really just need to, again, for the newbies, we really need to hold above, break back above this long-term downtrend line, and this goes back to all the way to February of 2008. See that one right there? We've had a long time below it. We tried to break above it a few times and attempts to hold. We thought this was going to be the one just a number of weeks ago, just a couple of months ago, and then it broke back down. 900, absolute line in the sand. Breaks below there. I'm not going to be very bullish on platinum. So that is platinum, that is gold, and that is silver on the edge of glory currently. Just have to break above this symmetrical triangle pattern, break above it and hold once more. I do think if we break above this time and hold above it, at least close above on the daily, particularly the weekly time frame, then you're looking in a good stead. Much more chance that we'll break above. It'll be a very, very happy day when we break and hold above 26.27, because that will be absolutely the complete bullish signal that we are rocketing to the all-time high. So bear all of that in mind. Of course, don't take it as financial advice, but please do subscribe to the channel. Again, our weekly specials, our weekly price update and analyses, of course, our insights videos, our topics of the week as well. Everything else we do on the channel, it's just really fantastic. You have to be a subscriber to get all the benefit. Please like this video. Please share it around. Of course, please subscribe. Balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care. We'll see you next time.